This video contains descriptions of disturbing scenarios that some viewers may find distressing. Viewer discretion is advised.
Welcome to, or welcome back to, the Agatha May Detective Agency. I'm Agatha May, and this episode is the first of a new series where I'll be covering 12 different unsolved cases from each of the 50 states. I'm starting with Alabama, and will work my way alphabetically through the rest of the states. There is no methodical thought behind how I'm choosing these cases, so if there is some kind of pattern, or if I'm choosing more cases from a particular location in any state, it is not intentional. Here are 12 unsolved cases from Alabama. Carrie Loraine Bowles. 35-year-old Carrie Loraine Bowles was found murdered in her home on November 13, 1996, in the Old Mill Trace subdivision off of Keens Mill Road in the Cottondale area of Tuscaloosa County, Alabama. She had been shot. There isn't much information on Carrie's death or the investigation that followed. Police are unsure if she knew her assailant. Carrie had 3 children, a daughter and 2 sons. In 2006, a community meeting provided new leads in Carrie's case, but no arrests were ever made from those leads. Carrie's mother, Sharon Tucker, passed away earlier this year without knowing what had happened to her daughter. If you have any information regarding this case, please contact the Tuscaloosa County Metro Homicide Unit at 205-464-8690, or you can email the Homicide Unit at homicide@tusco.com. You can also contact Crime Stoppers at 205-752-STOP to leave confidential anonymous tips. Brandon Joel Franklin. On Friday, January 18, 2019, at 1:00 p.m., the body of Brandon Joel Franklin was discovered behind a house in the 7300 block of 2nd Avenue South in Birmingham, Alabama. According to investigators, Brandon had been at his home in Moody, Alabama, the night before his body was discovered. His wife stated that when she woke up on the 18th, Brandon and his vehicle were both missing. Brandon worked for a subcontractor that was doing gas work in the area, and his body was found by his co-workers who had not been able to reach him and were trying to find him. Days later, authorities located his vehicle just a few miles from where his body was found, and there was blood detected in the passenger seat. This evidence suggests that Brandon may have been transported in his own car to the location where his body was discovered. If you know anything about this case, please contact Crime Stoppers of Metro Alabama at 205-254-7777. You will remain anonymous, and if your tip leads to an arrest, you could be eligible for a reward of up to $5,000. Cindy Gingrich. On September 7, 1994, 26-year-old Cindy Gingrich was shot and killed outside her family home on Main Street in Summerton, Alabama, sometime after 11:30 p.m. At the time Cindy was murdered, her 2 children were asleep inside the house. At the time of her death, Cindy was separated from her husband, Ed Gingrich. Ed has consistently maintained his innocence and has often stated that he's passed 2 polygraph tests. Personally, I think that makes Ed look more sketchy than if he didn't feel the need to tell everyone that he passed the polygraph test. Ed has said that, quote, "This was a personal thing. This was someone who knew her. Nobody randomly came up and killed her. Her circle was pretty small at the time," end quote. Ed and Cindy's parents both believe her death is connected to her allegedly receiving threatening phone messages. I wasn't able to find any information on those alleged phone messages, but I didn't dig much into this case. Cindy's family has expressed frustration over the years, citing a lack of communication and progress from law enforcement agencies. In 1994, then-Governor Jim Folsom announced a $7,500 reward for information leading to the resolution of the case. This reward remains available until the case is solved. The family and the media are asking anyone with information to contact the Walker County District Attorney's Office. but given what I know about Walker County, Alabama, it might be better to contact Central Alabama Crime Stoppers by texting 215-STOP to 738-477 to receive a link to their anonymous tip form. James Anthony Reynolds. On the night of May 7, 1999, James Anthony Reynolds, who had the nickname AMP, met up with friends Eula Jossett Lee, Angela Roberts Young, Valerie Jones McCoy, Tamara Monique Ward, and Lamar Stackhouse at Stackhouse's home in Enterprise, Alabama. The six of them took Stackhouse's 1986 Burgundy Chevrolet Caprice to the Hideaway Club in Opp, Alabama. According to investigators, the group arrived at the club just after 1 a.m. They paid the cover, went inside, and from what witnesses said, they seemed to be having a great time and enjoying the night. Larry, Mr. Edwards, was working club security, and around 3 o'clock, he started clearing people out for the night. He later told police that Stackhouse looked pretty drunk, but still got into the driver's seat and started revving the engine. Edwards said he warned Stackhouse to let someone else drive, so one of the women apparently switched places with him. Investigators think it might have been Tamara Monique Ward, but that's never been officially confirmed. According to witnesses, all six of the friends were in Stackhouse's car when it left the club, but none of them made it home. Within days, their various families had reported them all missing. Covington County had an unusually dry summer that year, and the lack of rain led to water levels in the area's lakes, rivers, and ponds to drop significantly. This led to Stackhouse's vehicle being found submerged in the Pea River about 50 feet from Ballard Bridge. It was 8 miles from Opp. Forensic analysis was performed on the remains found inside the car, but authorities were only able to confirm that 5 of the original 6 were in the car when it went into the river. There was no evidence of AMP being in the vehicle before or after it went into the water. He is still listed as a missing person. If you have any information regarding what happened in the early morning hours of May 8, 1999, or the whereabouts of James AMP Reynolds, please contact the Alabama State Bureau of Investigation Crime Hotline at 800-392-8011. Unknown male. On September 22, 1990, the body of a black male was recovered from a creek bed off Anderson Road, approximately 1/10 of a mile from Interstate 85 in Opelika, Alabama. After a medical examination was performed, the cause of death was determined to be a homicide from a single gunshot wound. The victim was wearing a white St. Louis Cardinals jersey-type shirt with red pinstripes, Jordache blue jeans, and black LS shoes. It is believed that the victim was between the ages of 18 and 25 years old, 135 to 145 pounds, and approximately 5 foot 8 inches. If you have any information regarding the identity of the victim or suspect involved or their whereabouts, please immediately call the Opelika Police Department at 334-705-5200 or Crime Stoppers using their 24-hour tip line at 334-215-STOP. Elizabeth Spence. On Wednesday, January 2, 1991, Elizabeth Spence was reported missing from Lafayette, Alabama. She left her job at Farmers and Merchants Bank before noon and never returned home. On Wednesday, January 9, 1991, Elizabeth's vehicle, a Daihatsu Charade, was found by Montgomery police in the parking lot of a department store on Atlanta Highway. Upon further inspection, authorities found Elizabeth's body in the trunk of her car. She had died from a gunshot wound to the head. There was a homicide investigation, but after 3 decades, her case still remains unsolved. In an effort to seek justice, a combined reward of $35,000 is being offered for information leading to an arrest in Elizabeth's case. This includes $5,000 from the Central Alabama Crime Stoppers, $5,000 from the state of Alabama, and $25,000 contributed by the Spence family. The Montgomery District Attorney's Cold Case Task Force is actively seeking any information that could assist in solving this case. Anyone that has relevant details is encouraged to contact Central Alabama Crime Stoppers at 334-215-STOP. Shannon Paulk. On August 16, 2001, 11-year-old Shannon Paulk was abducted from the Candlestick Park Trailer Park in Prattville, Alabama. Her mother had to be at work at 4 in the morning and left Shannon home with her other daughter. When her mother returned home from work, Shannon wasn't there, but her mother just thought she was out playing with friends. When Shannon didn't return home at her normal time, her mother and sister searched the neighborhood. When their search was unsuccessful, Shannon's mother filed a missing persons report with the local police department. On October 6, 2001, rabbit hunters discovered Shannon's remains in a wooded area of the Autauga County Wildlife Management Area, which is approximately 15 miles north of Prattville. The discovery intensified the investigation, but despite numerous interviews and the pursuit of various leads, no arrests have been made. In February 2017, a special investigative grand jury was convened to re-examine the case, leading to the dismissal of a previously circulated composite sketch after the original witness admitted it was fabricated. Authorities have explored potential connections between Shannon's case and similar unsolved cases in the region, but no definitive links have been established. Those with any information on Shannon Paulk's case are urged to call the Prattville Police Department at 334-595-0208. LaShae Ross. LaShae Ross is one of the unsolved cases that is potentially linked to Shannon's. Heaven was reported missing on August 19, 2003, in Northport, Alabama. It was just 2 years after the abduction and murder of Shannon Paulk. On the morning of August 19th, Heaven left her home in the Willowbrook Trailer Park in Tuscaloosa County to walk to the school bus stop. Her sister had left about 5 or 10 minutes before Heaven did to walk to the bus stop. A thunderstorm broke out before the bus made it, so the girls' stepfather decided to drive them to school rather than make them stand out in the weather. When he got to the bus stop, Heaven wasn't there. He and Heaven's sister drove back home to see if she had returned, but she wasn't there either. The family filed a missing persons report, but according to Heaven's mother, her disappearance wasn't taken seriously. Police considered Heaven to be a runaway. In 2006, Shannon's body was found underneath a house in Holt, Alabama, which is less than 15 minutes from where she lived. Those with any information on LaShae Ross's case are urged to call the Tuscaloosa County Sheriff's Department at 205-752-0616 or Crime Stoppers at 205-752-STOP. Traci Pittman Kegley. Tracy vanished from Wetumpka, Alabama on April 26, 1998. She was supposed to have started a new job at a local dentist's office on April 27th. Tracy and her 2-year-old daughter left to run errands the evening of the 26th. Her last sighting was on surveillance footage taken from a BP gas station near the intersection of Highway 231 North and Redland Road. The following morning, a local resident came across Tracy's car with her daughter still inside. Her daughter was unharmed, but Tracy was nowhere to be found. The car's engine was still running with the windows rolled down a couple of inches, and Tracy's purse was left inside the vehicle. Tracy was approximately 5'10" and around 140 pounds. She had brown frosted hair and hazel eyes. When she was last seen, she had on pink shorts, a white floral top, and white tennis shoes. If you have any information related to the disappearance of Tracy, please contact the Alabama State Bureau of Investigations at 334-676-7870 or SBI Investigations at alea.gov. You may also contact Crime Stoppers at 334-215-STOP. Richard Trumbull. 42-year-old Richard Trumbull, also known by the nickname Zero, is another missing person from Wetumpka. He was last seen leaving his home with his friend Joey Dale Ward on October 8, 2007. They were said to have left at around midnight in a blue and tan 1987 Ford F-150 pickup truck. Joey Ward was seen shortly after Richard disappeared and was supposed to go to the police station for an interview. However, he never showed up, and he is also missing to this day. Joey has warrants out for his arrest on burglary and theft charges, though nothing has been shown that connects those warrants with the events of October 8th. Richard's disappearance has completely baffled his family. They say he would have never left his family without anyone knowing where he was going. He was well-liked, well-known, and married with 3 children. Richard is described as a black male with black hair and brown eyes, approximately 5 foot 9 inches and around 165 pounds. He is believed to have been wearing a blue shirt and Nike shorts at the time of his disappearance. If you have any information regarding the disappearance of Richard Trumbull, please contact the Elmore County Sheriff's Office at 334-567-5546. Mont Highley IV. Mont was last seen on November 28, 2003. The day before was Thanksgiving, and Mont had spent the day with his family. The next day, Mont was spotted at a gas station where he stopped and made a call to a close friend to invite him to go hunting at the family hunting camp known as The Farm. The friend was unable to go, and this was believed to have been Mont's last phone call. The next day, Mont's father arrived at the hunting camp and found the gate unlocked. The metal storage building was opened and unlocked, and the front door to the mobile home was open. Mont was not there. His wet boots, pants, $100 cash, and his cell phone had been overlooked when his father first arrived, but were located in the mobile home later. On December 1, 2003, Mont's Tahoe was found 2.5 miles away from his family's camp. They found his wallet inside with $200 cash. The keys were in the ignition, and Mont's briefcase and hunting rifle were also in his vehicle. Multiple law enforcement agencies started a search for Mont and located the family golf cart that had been abandoned. Near the golf cart, searchers found Mont's shirt, flashlight, and pistol. Law enforcement used scent dogs that were able to track Mont's scent to the neighboring farm where his Tahoe had been found. The dogs continued to trail his scent to a farm directly across the road from that neighboring farm, but that's where the trail ended. If you have any information regarding the unsolved murder of Mont Highley IV, please contact the Alabama State Bureau of Investigation at 334-676-7870. Brittney Nicole Wood. 19-year-old Brittney Wood disappeared from Mobile, Alabama on May 30, 2012. She had left her mother's home that evening and reportedly went to visit her uncle, Donald Holland Sr., in the Styx River area. Brittney was last seen entering his vehicle around 7:30 p.m. Her cell phone activity was traced to that area, but the activity stopped at 11:30 p.m. 2 days later, on June 1, 2012, Donald Holland Sr. was found in his vehicle with a self-inflicted gunshot wound and later died from his injuries. At the time, Holland was under investigation for sex crimes. That investigation eventually led to uncovering a family-involved child sex abuse ring in which Holland was a primary suspect. Multiple family members and friends of the family were arrested for being part of that sex abuse ring. In 2020, authorities received a tip and subsequently searched a property in Grand Bay, Alabama, for possible clues of Brittney's disappearance, but nothing was found. Anyone with information about Brittney is urged to contact the Mobile Police Department at 251-208-7211, or you can anonymously submit a tip by calling or texting the police department at 844-251-0644. If you would like for me to make an individual video about any of these cases, or if you have a case that you would like to be covered from one of the remaining states, please let me know in the comments. I will leave the contact information for the various law enforcement agencies in the description box. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe as this helps my channel grow. Memberships are also available through YouTube or Patreon. Until next time, stay safe and be happy.